Congratulations to the Timberwolves for moving on once again to the Eastern Conference Finals. We have to see if Anthony Edwards is going to show up in the important games in the Western Conference Finals. I know Jimmy Buckets is old. I don't think Jimmy Buckets was healthy. Jimmy Butler was not healthy in this series. And they were fighting really to get through this series without Steph Curry. Steph Curry is an important piece to this puzzle. Reason why is he draws two players every single time he comes up the court. He is that great of a shooter, and when you double team him, you have Jimmy Butler open, you have other players that can hit open shots, and it makes the Golden State Warriors a totally different team. Now, Jimmy Butler, we've seen him do this. We've seen him take over games over the years with Miami. This is not the Miami Heat. This is not the same Jimmy Butler that was what he was with the Heat 3-4 years ago. This is an older Jimmy Butler. That doesn't mean that Jimmy Buckets cannot be the player that we've seen him be in the playoffs. He just wasn't in this series. Again, this is a younger Timberwolves team. You got Julius Randle playing well. Like I said, Dante DiVincenzo has been superb, really coming off the bench, the way he has, adding that three-point prowess that he gives them, and really, for a guy his size, has helped on the offensive side of the boards as well. So they're getting that. As far as Steve Kerr is concerned, I don't want to hear it from Steve Kerr. I don't ever want to hear Steve Kerr talk. You know why? Because he's congratulating a guy that he coached with the Olympic team. He was also the guy that had backlash during the season about what Anthony Edwards stands for and what he has said to the press over the years. He was one of the guys that obviously said what he said about Anthony Edwards. You know, you go out there and play the game. Don't put yourself center stage in front of the press if you don't expect to be smacked around. And Anthony Edwards had his own thoughts to Steve Kerr. Now all of a sudden he's kissing his ass? That's typical Steve Kerr, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know how long Steve Kerr has left over there with the Golden State Warriors, because you would think that Steve Kerr has a great career after the coaching in the NBA. And we've seen guys from the Golden State Warriors. The GM, when the GM realized Myers, I think it was his last name was.
Yeah, it was now in football.
When he decided, hey, you know what? This team is getting older. I won my championships. I put this team together. Maybe I step down and go work with another sports team outside of basketball. That's what he did. And now he's an analyst for the NBA for ESPN. And this guy's making more money doing that than sitting behind as an executive and dealing with some of the rubbish that you have to deal with guys like, they're... Well, I'm not even going to mention his name. You know what? Screw it. You know who I'm talking about. Mr. Green himself, who goes out there and throws his team under the bus and spits out the garbage that he puts on his podcast. And then you have guys like Klay Thompson over the years that at the tail end of his career over there with the Golden State Warriors wasn't the same player. He wasn't a splash brother. He was really a shell of himself after he tore his Achilles, after tearing his ACL. So Myers just wanted to step down. He didn't want to deal with that crap on and off the court. So he made the smart move. What do you think Steve Kerr is going to do, guys? What do you think he's going to do? He's going to step down, and teams are going to go after him. He's going to say, you know what? I'm just going to do my broadcasting, build a podcast, and do what I'm doing over there. I was making a lot of money with TNT. I was making a lot of money on the side on some of the stuff I was doing with Sirius Radio. Why the hell do I need to be a coach anymore? I won multiple championships. I'm going to be considered one of the greatest coaches of this era. And you know what? The only reason why is because he coached so many great players. I'm tired of Steve Kerr. I don't want to see Steve Kerr anymore. He makes me sick. Okay? I feel bad about the background and his story with his father. I feel terrible. But as a person, as a head coach, I think he's one of the most overrated coaches in NBA friggin' history. He is not a good coach. I'm telling you. Look, they bring in Jimmy Butler. They were barely a playoff team. They bring in Jimmy Buckets. They squeeze into the playoffs, and everybody was like, including yours truly, oh, maybe they can win. And Steve Kerr is saying, we're a good team. Let's just get into the playoffs and see how. And then, as we heard over the last couple of weeks, hey, maybe Steve Kerr believes they really could win. Maybe they can get over the top. Maybe they can beat these young teams. Give me a break, Steve. Stop kissing people's asses. I don't want to hear it. Go take the San Antonio Spurs job. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, they already gave the job to somebody else. They didn't want you. So I'm so tired of hearing Steve Kerr speak. I already know what Anthony Edwards is. I already know what the Timberwolves are going to be in the next series. It really depends on who they match up against. If they match up against the Nuggets, guys, the Nuggets were beaten by this Timberwolves team in the semifinals, a team that won the championship the year before. Don't you think the Nuggets are going to come out with their best? Don't you think the Nuggets are going to do whatever they can to knock off the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals and embarrass Anthony Edwards? 100%. I just think they match up, believe it or not, I know everybody's going to think I'm crazy. I think the Timberwolves match up with OKC more than they match up against the Nuggets. So they better pray it's OKC and not the Nuggets.
I think it's ironic. The 2-1 seeds are very similar in that they both really haven't been there, and they have a lot of young players. You know, you got Jalen Williams has not played to the level that we saw him play during the regular season for OKC. Chet's physicality is a problem in the playoffs. We're seeing that right now for OKC. And Shai has been fantastic. He's great. And he's helping them go, and they're moving the ball because he's so good. But Jokic is so good, and I still can't believe they're going to give Shai the MVP over Jokic, because Jokic is that entire team. It is absolutely crazy how they don't need to have a coach, Errol. He's the coach on the floor. He's directing the offense. It's like you said it the other day, Gretzky at the late stages of his career operating from behind the net. I'm just going to find somebody. It's going to be the right decision every single time. And if it's not there, I'll take the shot and I'll make it too.
Did you see when they went to the sideline, like Jokic was actually standing like where the coach was, like pointing and like basically just
he's the coach
hosting the huddle himself. But you also got to remember too, after their first series win, Jokic was like giving credit to the coach, but it's like he's giving credit to himself.
So they lose this game. I'm going to show you a highlight, Joba. Look at this. Jokic there's a bad pass late in the shot clock. Chet on him, 7-foot-tall Chet.
Oh, is this the turnaround?
Look at this.
Yeah.
Swish. What? That shouldn't be possible so easily. And look at the bench reaction. Like that should exactly. That should not be possible.
And it's not like Chet Holmgren's short
or a bad defender.
No.
You know, as he's actually a pretty good perimeter defender for a big man because he's so, lanky and mobile. And doesn't matter. There's no way to stop Jokic when he's playing this way. And I think Jokic's going to find a way tonight. And I think they're going to find a way to probably win this series.
Yeah, they showed the average in the playoffs. He's averaging 30 and Shai's averaging 28.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear who's better when you see them head-to-head. And that's why I really was excited to see this. Even if Denver loses, I think Jokic acquitted himself in that argument pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if this does go to a Game 7. I expect Jokic to take this to a Game 7 tonight. And this is going to be a fun final Game 7 because I think this was the series I wanted to see go all the way to a Game 7. I didn't want to see the Knicks.
I think we all had it go in Game 7, didn't we?
We did. And I don't trust OKC in a hole in a wall.